So, Captain, the Yaka Ora Hwasem, so far so good. It's early days yet to pass judgment on President Mahama's government because 1 month there enough. Yes, but I think the signs are so far a babon, you know, demonstrating somebody will go back to the bench. We'll see most of his mistakes. Waba back, you know, he's making amends and trying to do things differently. And I think that is why the last time I was telling you, some of the decisions, executive decisions, are intact. The clarity of thought, that kind of way. So I think so far so good. With this oral thing, I am very familiar with the sort of bastardization started when the committee was set up. People were arguing the legal backing, the legal framework, regulating. Minim when ye hear legal framework and say you set up a committee to receive some of these things. But now I catch you say, oh, no, any prosecutorial powers say all prosecute will be. They don't have power to set charge or invite or be say chin my information. They are there as a platform and receive just information from Ghanaians. At the end of the day, Omonsaka said the Omonsaka and Roya, what they call president, he will forward it to institutions or more prosecutorial powers to do further digging and investigation. Onya evidence, not evidence, no our value. Our meeting so as standing the test of your first prosecution at court. Then we proceed in that particular direction. Because about to idea back a drive the elections ever seen call a perception of corruption. And we got to a point here now it was no longer perception, but faces were rather placed behind the corruption cases are not here. And if we drew a point, Ghana for be so numb with the issues, but that's all right. And the corruption, if you are you don't even get space to discuss. My cultures are politics, and yeah, sorry, and issues of corruption. But because young fan chair and I say no, Captain, a perception and they inform me everything. So at the until last night, my cultures are quite sorry them near the tools. So offer will be here. Wait to make us me the money, but in politics, me the money is not there. Because it is the perception that informs among for political opinion and the choices that they make. So when you're a politician, as we a government, you must always move in to dispel any notion of corruption. And then, so we check here, institutions are measure corruption, you know, they use perception. Because I know that they what people see, you know, and they inform me their thought and everything. So the move by the president, and I think that it's appropriate. It also emboldens public confidence because you know, say in recent times, a man for trust or more in the establishment or government, you know, I reduce you. Man for any trust. It got to a point that the government was somewhere, and I say watching what will happen. But if you begin to do some of these things, it will engender and inspire people. Say, oh, Abani is serious. He's really fighting corruption. And I think that the public support now here, you can enlist it to do this particular thing. Because the nature of human being is such that so we nipa, adia captain nipa bayeno, ebeyo we are naturally dangerous and very corrupt. And he always, man must make sure that there are consequences and repercussions for every decision and choices that you make. But we live in a country where there is no conventional deterrence. The consequences are there. That's so right. You create a free range. And it's the reason why we saw what happened. So this oral thing, the amount of money, the estimation, so what is the sebi now to one we crash show so manya yeti kwa abonten kwa bobosia $3 billion yet meet na kroma kwabra need to me we are over about 20 billion clearly it say we need to do a lot to salvage the situation. So I think that it's a good move that will embolden public confidence. Now said it shouldn't be just populist politics or populist approach. Oh ya can ya ban a few days ya bobo and krata and whatever nothing happens. And I don't know the day idea about ebe prove crucial in this fight against corruption has to do with the court. Captain, we need to touch the court. Because I know the day, the whole prosecution is going to happen. We know what happened in the previous administration when there was this desperate attempt to pack the court. The question is, na honorable Sikano, enkonkwaye case ye pia adeni nyina kogu ho a 4 years ni edi asem no mieye. Ghana for want swift reaction and response. Na enkoye back and forth. And I don't support the idea of setting up your friends Kufuor Pens or yes, a fast track high court and as for. I don't support it. But you know, there are ways we can fasten some of these prosecutions. Say, but yeah, you bet mama manfo unzo, and yet just crock the jaw and I buy no yeah, namum. There is real commitment. I end up pinning this particular thing because Captain going forward in Sono, it's not just about previous what has happened. What will happen to these people no, should also send a clear message to people who will be in this government. So politics governance going forward, no, it's no more business as usual. The mere fact that what this particular government in Muno doesn't give you the license and the audacity to mess up. Or mess up a bina be you wama. Now prosecute too. Because that is in politics, you know, the easiest thing to do is to prosecute your political opponent. It's easy. But the raw deal comes when you take upon yourself to prosecute your own people. And I think that is where we need to tell people, say, the rest is yours. So ahemfo ne asofo na omonam dan achi na ye kopacha wo na so ora we ya buy prosecution be sha say enye nwanwa ahemfo ne asofo be sha se e kopacha ma omonana no mo fase enum. So I know the energy aye de ye sa de we nyina no wo be he na ni nyina akofom. I know the day Obia Belusu God and everything goes. Then we come to an era of corruption once again where people think say politics is an avenue I can easily make money and get away. Captain, now this hostile intrusion, a lot of people, everybody want to do politics. Because that is the easiest way to make money in this country. Because there are no consequences for actions I think that we really need to send a message say governance, you know, privileged position for unim de wunyan saboa na ye nchechire oman sebeya I know the ordinary and the average Ghanaian na all need those opportunities ne privileges na wo no ono benya that particular benefit na be an avenue a conduit where people go make money I know they get away there are no consequences na no na make sure South Korea omo president and na man investigators call kona no because of issues of corruption I know what happened the whole sitting president was investigated. And this is the height that these people have elevated the fight against corruption to. By the other day, easily, no, but those who are stealing millions of dollars, you know, they get away. So I think there is a wake-up call for all of us. Issues of corruption as a future prominently in this administration because one of the reasons Ghanaians voted. Exactly. We don't want to see corruption. Yes, and you cannot afford to fail the people. And the first, you need to pay few people in the media. You control the political narrative. The corruption, and that win to me, Captain. The space has widened. And then yesterday now I was telling somebody saying that there are no consumers of news anywhere. We are all prosumers. We are producing and consuming at the same time. Yeah. Because once you have the capacity to go on social media and post, you know, you are producing news. You read Obidia, you are also at the same time consuming. So we are all prosumers. The platform has widened with this new innovative tech platforms, you know. You can't control the narrative anymore. Wouldn't even come out few traditional media can almost set the agenda and people will discuss government and you see the youth are becoming wide awakened and enlightened following issues of politics with keen interest and this you know they can easily tap on their phone do comparative analysis or they compare other countries know here oh this is wrong and so forth. So the best thing any government can survive in this country you know and they say obey the right thing now what making sure say you serve the people diligently. Now issues of corruption and as for bar, obey show real commitment. Na ya bua na ya fighting. Because makase with this new government, Ghana for are not expecting governments or kotoka mobi and now komobi sikash at the bottom do the right thing, and that is all that the people of this country want. Captain, you don't understand the veil of desperation hanging around this country. Young people come out of the university, there is absolutely nothing that they can do for themselves. And I know a lot of people are with degree programs and so forth, but they are traveling to Middle East and other places just to work for money. And sometimes working conditions out there. It's so funny. Sometimes you begin to wonder. But these people are going because on minor team, no, Captain, opportunities be here. The last time I can't actually about your mineral regime, my own chroma say, yet me gold, ye diamond, now ye lithium, now they are from for moment jimuntu na moment 10%. Sometimes you begin to wonder why first why you're doing. And this initiative, no, also in the community, the people there are deprived. The last time we spoke about Obuasi, And now Obuasi land and say to the extent say there is nothing that any young person living at that particular place, can use the land to do. Yeah, to assassinate in say now no lithium. We spoke wisdom to the president, but he was not amenable to those concerns being raised by the people. At the end of the day, the lithium na. You know very well, so lithium is the new gold because the world is going green.
That's right.
And when you have such natural resources, what you have to do is say you partner companies of more resources, you pay them, you own the thing, you set up a plant, you create job opportunities and incentive for people. But now year 21st century, ya kwa tenase akwa ton gold, ya kwa ton lithium, no. Say omonje no my 10%. We were celebrating these things. Now no one Botswana. Omo your friend saying Diamond Company, one of the biggest diamond extraction company in Botswana. They've gone to the stance of doing 50-50 at this time. Even though me 50-50 I disagree.
Yeah, sure.
You understand? By 1090, 1585. Now how a man for a language in poverty, where people are being impoverished in this country, especially in this community, the veil of hopelessness. People traveling Ghana for Mugu Libya because but the opportunities are not there. I think the government needs to sit up. You see, there is a lot to do. That was why the last time I mean who said your more be position no more jubilating. Me say this is no time to be jubilating. No. Sure. Because you don't understand the enormity of that has been given to you. You mess it up. There you see how Ghanaians will go after you. You understand? The mere fact that people voted for NDC doesn't mean that you come and mess up and everybody will go quiet. No. You need to take into cognizance that particular support now, the confidence now, and you deliver on that, so that Amamfo will continue to invest that particular trust. Now you build the governance. Now you reposition your friends at Ghana. Now you changing the political narrative. Now people will not assume say, oh, politics is there. You chrono. Now mum, you say a avenue. You the build your mind. Now you dim the phone and as for the bedroom. Now adventure. Now you the chichiro mind or mind ako. And you a fertile avenue to come make money and then I know they take care of your family. You take your family outside and as for no. That is the notion we are seeking to kill. So I think they're so far so good. Okuja Tony the team or my idea and those on the other side are now more engaging in this cynicism, creating an impression. Say you're witch hunting. Captain, we are witcher. You will be hunted. So we are witcher. You will be hunted. Now, how on saying, so why you're born here, then you should be worried. Because it is not the president that is going to prosecute you. It is the people of this country. Because Abra President Mahama in the campaign, I checked some of the indices among for year. Do you know that one of the reasons people voted for him the aura?
Oh yes.
Yes. One of the campaign promises gaining a lot of traction because we got to a point that you say corruption among for real to a point I would describe it. So the only way is to come out with such an initiative to recover that particular thing. And to overpower, you cannot afford. Is the reason why I'm happy. Say one of his earliest decisions that he took at the time, showing commitment and the respect for the people of this country, said, this is what I told you. This is what I'm going to do. And that energy, now see the pursue this particular thing. You're making sure, say, yes, set the stage. And the Ghana, we've established that conventional deterrent so far as corruptions are concerned. Oba, you will be prosecuted, you will be hunted. And trust me, there are a lot we can do to save this country. And yes, sir, Captain, on my way, you damn. Your politics are dirty, and this MPP politics, depending on where you stand across the political divide, and the bear informing your opinion. So I said me a wrong crowd, you defend it, then we all get away. I think that now Ghana for a wide awakening. They are following the issues. Is the merit and a man for a share, not the other side, the politics and the emotional activism. We are looking at the political, the governance aspect of Ghana for a DE. And I think that is what we need to come do. So government it the government will be able to enlist the collective strength and the support of all Ghanaians to rebuild the Ghana we all want. And I think that is the best way.
All right. And then we came about come power, but Council of State, Honorable Kakra. Na Ivan Kakra so na fe. Ya ko nchene so.
Okay.
Ya be kan nchene ho asem.
Council of State. Say na odi kan kan ene na omoto omoso aba. Na 16 regions no obia be yi nipa baako e de abeka ho. Na President ewe kwenya so ofa nipa baako 15 edeka ho emu 4 no ye some guarded former IGP, former Chief Justice,
former CDS.
CDS. So those and the regional house of national house of chiefs,
the president of the national house of chiefs.
Yes. The na or 11 account. Na udi can say omuna two present for. But Ghana constitution say on your binding.
Yeah.
So na udi can no. Say afutu obi ade sa na ete. Say me to afutu me say captain. O program ye ni say ya. My dream am but it's not binding on you.
What can we
So, but we are praying, say, regions now be to abaning 2 assembly members from each district. Obako to abano on obako to abano. Omonhwe nipa sebio owo nimdie ewo amambu ho na obetumi aboa president. Niamano bebre wo ho a this a president done the man for omo afutu. Even appointments bi no kura wo ho a say ese oji afutu free omo ho ansana sa appointments no adimu. So nti be hia nipa omo ye level headed. Said papa we die so okoka president ho na otunufo a obetunufo a ebeboa Ghana fo. Ebi ni say ye ka corruption any bribery as in katashene proye na ebia nipa no a oti ne community no kra no nipa no dodo na omoye nipa atitru for pa na omo dodo no ya ahemfo aye nim sania ebia oye ohene no oman hene ananse ohene bia ne area ho munim dwuma a odi so odwuma a odi na sa dwuma no di no ho adanse se oba obetumi abeye na enya ne oba abepe no ho ananse ye kase na corruption ne bribery na ono nso so already kra mu ni say ne ho ebon oniam bi ho so ebe stress delegates no they should look at things very well. And normally eba sa electoral college system no ewe ye side of the country and I say world na electoral college system no emwa bebre because the numbers are very few and obi wo ha he can marshal all the resources to just buy the few. My region like the Nipa 22 na ekotoaba 11 districts. Nipa 22. So obia nani abre pass and answer or bibisa you know he can easily influence the delegates with money. I have to say there are just 6 districts. 12 and ekotoaba. Oko Savannah Nipa 12. Northeast, the same thing. So nipa 12 there, you can easily, but a gentleman does not refuse an offer. A offer na nipa ne de ma. But a man in toward so when you say a pay party, you done sika, you done sa position we manner. And niama enkoyi, but san say wa mo sikentino. And also he's the highest bid than maybe a yakoto aba amano. Because the man present JM the niabre say obeye adwuma. Enti ese nya nipa ono nso betumi ayede aboa no ama eniema watoto niema yie. Na say sana yekokotwa no troka na chese yekoye ana say ye buy. Enti captain the best the delegates no enye na council of state no so ni obewi ni bia no so no ye man ne trinkwa na ya sere ne so no so dwumadie na omo de be sha ne nsa no eye dwumadie so nwa so pa omo ba omo nya ni eyie emaye Ghana ho hia ye nyina.
All right. And to say ye di kan katre wo no ebi koso na obi anwe obi so dia wo ho omo enwe ne ko kakran northern region enipa nnan ene gina se yento won so aba Alhaji Mohammed Mumuni, Richard Andani Yakubu, and afei Inyandi Abdul Rakib, and Adam Hussein. Enipa ekọ ho se wo kwoto abani na ye 32. Watu wie no na Adam Hussein wenye 0 obi anto amano. Inyandi Abdul Rakib wenye 2. Ade nam so mu di fiase ekọ to di ode asepa ni nya 0. Ena Richard Andani Yakubu sunya 4. Ena Alhaji Mohammed Mumuni unya 26.
Wow.
Nti sese ya me no kase no Alhaji Mohammed Mumuni ono na ye Council of State member elect Emma Northern Region.
I'm a former MP.
Bachane.
Okay.
Ti ono sese ya me no kase Northern Region police abet bi di atoso ye yi ono preko. Nya dia o mo chekura, o mo nchero ho kura. 943 ya kan awie yi no. To Northern Region ato ne de awie ayi nipa obegina one name so mo Council of State member Lucas Yerian and a year presiding officer or share ye Emma Batoi etimi eko so fe ti say ya me no kasa ide obi atene ho ase agent no Abdullah Baba nejire mu ma Alhaji Mohammed Mumuni dini de aka no nkrofo no mo chote se doctor for nti me hu bi ye me hu Abubakar wo ho Sadat on nejire mu ma Adam Hussein ene won a aka ne one doctor Adina ejire mu ma Yandi Abdul Rakib nti Northern Region yewie ya to yewie mo wini no win wa wan win no so na eno anu no echofio
Simo.
nti eno na down TV no so no ti say out of 16 ye de ba ko a kire o de akari na de betoto aso but say Central Region and so ato awie ena bono awie ahafo ato awie Volta ato awie Eastern ato awie Greater Accra Fuguso nti ye de bebre wansan ya sorry yako ibe hu de
Captain, so the composition of Council of State, you and I will admit, sir, composed of revered individuals and penning for him for Kessie, are Ghana for respect for them. But in the last 8 years, I mean, open one institution, Ghana for bastardizing a na a Council of State. It got to a point Ghanaians were rendering it useless. So it was one of the most useless institutions in Adentia. Because the core mandate are not Ghana for expected from them. That is not what we were seeing. Because it got to a point that now president was taking reckless decisions. I said, now why need to are buying for? And do as a Council of State and the two are buying for. I understand advice is not binding. Said the AC cannot power no power. But I also believe that we two will be for now consistently or say on fire. The best thing you can do is to resign.
That's all.
Because you don't sit there and be taking fat salaries and enjoy those things when the person you're advising, is so intransigent. Say, okay, assumption also in so am I Ghana for lose respect for that particular your friends Council of State? May until say we redefine it and assign a different role and I say you be define roles or play clearly. No, I'm not too convinced about the impact the Council of State will have on our governance system. I know that there are huge money in a year trogu, yeah, shadow who some fast but if you are being paid, I think that people should be able to assess at their war and value. But if it is advice is not binding. I know that the president is not under any instruction to take whatever that is being you must say to him or whatever. So I think say constitutional review now we need to take some of these things into consideration. Now you look at the functions of the Council of State. Now you're making sure that it look relevant in the eyes of Ghanaians. Because it's not just about the people in, it is about how people see what you're doing and how they accept and appreciate it. And I think that and then they drive with this particular conversation. And then you cry now walk and yes, sure say among for when say about Council of State to be people don't know. People are not interested. You understand? Actually the value I lose in recent times because of what happened in the last 8 years. In the past, na idea back what's here na it comes with some veneration. But for the last 8 years, so individuals going in, I think that they have a responsibility just to ensure say I rebuild the tattered image of the Council of State. Now you are rebranding it to a point Ghana for me who say sabi emfaso so adwuma omudia ye no enu that is the only way. And yes sir, Captain, you bet me to abai ya man for the omako you turn out to be the same thing emfaso bi amaso. So they have a responsibility. Yeah, to Abama, it's not just a make a hokeke. Or make impact. Make your impact. Yeah, then I'll Ghana for feel say, these people are doing this. And I'm almost so another day, say, yeah, Tanasia says, Obia way, you be who your hand in the way and manner things are going. And that is the only way Ghanaians will appreciate. And Captain, answer, I maybe can't weigh honorable another pray.
So to say NDC MPP
yes.
Oh,
I wonder why the IGP arrested by this time, Captain, because you cannot make such reckless statement in public and get away with it. And as you know, you're mere and as if nothing has happened. Say your ordinary person when they making this particular statement. Ebianka and Nkojina court or Yedinasem. A violence and are inciting, and this is a person who is supposed to be an honorable person representing people in parliament. When you do that, you drag everybody around you into the mud. Then people begin to question whether you deserve the prefix honorable or not. And I've seen a lot of social media debate. I know that it's because of this behavior. And in recent times, Yehu Niema Akoso, was it not the same gentleman who could parliament because NDC for saying so it's okay. Okay. Abra Galab say issue about ye debate. And the same thing, and our committee shall say behavior ye bugu microphone and as a forum is the same person at the center of way and then yaba bedruha. I think say you see, say the Jumadi Shawansa, Captain, it doesn't mean that when you mean such a ubiao. And at this point in time, you are the person who can help us deliver this. And I think that we need to replicate that by respecting the people. By speaking in the way I said, but consistently you go crazy, make loose, reckless statements, and you think people respect you for being just honorable. No. I like Speaker of Parliament when he told them, the honorable members, before people will respect us, we need to respect ourselves. What is going on in Parliament? It's so embarrassing. It's not everybody though, but Captain, when you sit around and the perception and the impression people are having about this particular thing going on, it's not nice. And you can't be making such reckless statements and get away with it. So I'm employing the IGP. Say what? Because who's a man for the toy gun, a video, social media, or dear Chile Mahuso bia video safi baby or in some kind of the police for draw ya kwakwache no asema papa na kan no I think he must be arrested and I say yam friend no na o machirechirem because or endanger the life of people. Ghana no na you know ya bedu a point among 40 politics ase so sa nsem hunu no o kan kro obi amfiu but there are other people one way they carry on with those things. Right. We can't live in a country where people will be making such reckless statements and in the name of whatever, they just get away with it. I think the IGP must rise to the occasion. Now we'll show leadership, say, we do not condone such things. And the NDC majority in parliament, they have the absolute numbers. But I think that they cannot afford to show weakness. Captain, Maminka Zamchiro, numbers now all parliaments is here. The NDC has absolute majority. The minority cannot influence anything. So psychologically, what you can do is to create a scene, create hostility, aggression. Say your presence will be felt. Yet to about when they're running the show, is it not a minority? They are running the show. Do you know why? Because they don't have the numbers to influence any decision. The only way they can do is to ensure that they create that hostile environment for you so that you cannot do whatever you're doing. Politics, any Pentecost meeting, no, you need to show people say you are not weak. If you have power, you need to project that power. The minority then, the NDC, when they unpassed all of them, Edru Okuja Tone, your friends say, Sam Georges, no, a branch away, what has what running, sir. Your problem and sour and can you because at the time I offer for the second betting, you know. Now a bubble senior to the sense I can't watch them money. Ghana for were angry. They were looking for said that guy will not get a pass. But NDC and go washing and sa but this time round, Okuja Tonya Fio, the Oya and say or what to fight corruption. Sam George, the Oya and say or Cherna. But a fellow marking them go so I'm telling you, sir, we need power. You need to project power. Politics is not Pentecost meeting. You need to show and project that power just to let your colleague who say we are weak. Because once you show weakness, you are done. And I see that signs of weakness in the other side, even though they have the majority. I think they need to tell their colleagues on the other side, say, they are not weak. They have absolute majority and they are in charge and they are running the show.
Bam. I don't know what to now. Tables, no.
Well, that did not me, but not in your house.
Okay, maybe I'm going to I say 8th Parliament, 9th Parliament, no. As a more young idea to say, Kuala didn't let him grow. Why?
I say, Captain, you know, say, I say, the 8th Parliament was a very unique Parliament. And for the first time, we had a hung Parliament. Or, in other words, we say a balance. 137, 137. Now, independent. Yeah. So there was that struggle for recognition or whatever I should say, well, and you know, the way we did things was different. And a presentee Ghana for with opportunity to make certain amends. And the first group to take the step was Parliament to amend our standing orders. Say, yeah, the standing orders. Yeah, I must say a Chinevino
hang Parliament.
Hang the Parliament
will happen.
It is a hang Parliament by. So hang Parliament now and take advantage of things that has happened. New standing orders to reflect going in the future. The same thing, our constitution also did not also make provision. Say, when we in a situation now, when we so resolve. And the command say, if Parliament a year and at a point, parliamentary proceedings they call judiciary. And then
there be more paper.
Yes,
yeah, more best Parliament.